a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip with me.
You've heard the saying about not making assumptions, so I won't repeat it. It does get old that no matter where you are or what you've done, you still encounter people that need to make an assumption when they really don't. Let's talk about that a bit on today's Tuesday trip. Hi, my name's Nate Johnson, and I'm the CEO and founder of GLCS, and this is the Driving Forward Podcast Tuesday Trip. Assumptions, we all make them. We all likely try to avoid verbalizing them. The thought comes into our head. We maybe don't have the thought come out of our mouth, but we certainly have the assumption processed through our mind. Many of us have that assumption processed through our mouths as well. And we work to reduce the number of times that it comes out of our mouth. Albert Einstein once said, "Assumptions are made, and most assumptions are wrong." And I believe he was correct. That being said, the more experience you have in your field, the greater chance that your assumptions are going to be correct or close to correct. Assumptions can speed up a project or a conversation. They can also slow it down or end it immediately. They can take a first impression and make it a last impression, or at least make it very difficult for someone to move forward from for a very long time. I speak to a lot of people every day, and when speaking to them, various thoughts pop into my head, and I believe I know something about them or their businesses. And I've trained myself over many years to quiet those thoughts and hold my tongue. When I was much younger, when I was a few years younger, I spoke much faster and would put my thoughts out much quicker. I wouldn't recommend that. It's taken me many years to quiet those thoughts and put them under control and hold my tongue until I have more details and ensure that when I do speak, I speak with authority, not only industry authority and experience from within the industry, but understanding the problem that the person that I'm speaking to is having, and that the recommendations that I'm making are accurate. On a personal level, it gives me time to understand the conversation that I'm having, and maybe I don't want to put my assumption out there. Maybe I want to learn more about the person and whatever they have and they need to put forth to me, whatever conversation they want to have with me. I need to learn more about that, and I need to let them talk. In many cases, the conversation you're having, the other person involved just wants to talk, and you need to listen. So don't make the assumption and listen. So today I use some simple tactics so I don't make false assumptions. These are tactics that I've refined a bit over the years. They're tactics that I can't say are anything revolutionary, but they slow me down a little bit. They make me walk through conversations in a particular way. And in some cases, on a personal level, they do slow down conversations when some people want to talk much faster. And at a business level, they slow them down substantially which I've found over time has worked to my benefit. I don't create scenarios where I say something I wish I could take back, or say something that was inaccurate, even if it wasn't 100% accurate. Maybe it was 90% accurate, but very rarely am I stating something that is not, that doesn't have a stamp of authority to it if I use these tactics. I ask a lot of questions. I continue to ask questions as we're going through a conversation. I may even know the answer to the question that I'm asking, or I may think I know. I think think is the operative word, but I may think I know the answer to the question. The answer may have been already provided in some instances, but I ask it again in a different way. And I may do that 2, 3, or 4 times throughout the discussion. I may ask direct questions associated with the answer itself. Once the answer is provided, I may look at that answer from several different angles and ask answers surrounding that particular answer. I allow whoever I'm speaking with to respond, and I listen to them intently. It's important that you listen to them intently and you don't allow your assumption to come into your ear. And what I mean by that is, in many scenarios, you may think you know what someone is going to say. And so you somewhat check out when someone else is speaking. And instead of listening to them intently, you listen to them to wait to hear when you can respond back. So it's important that you listen to them as they speak to you and you process that information accordingly. From here, you review the facts either in your mind, or if you're in a larger engagement or in a round table setting, speak with all the parties involved to ensure that those details are correct. So I'm hearing you is a common statement. Review that. Review the steps. Go through the process that you're reviewing. Go through the facts that you're receiving from the other parties. You continue to converse back and forth until you believe you're on the same page of the subject matter you're speaking about. So once again, this all comes about because you've created this assumption and you're starting to move forward on that assumption. But instead of moving forward on the assumption, you're now conversing about it. You're saying, I'd like to ask some questions. Let's go through this, et cetera, et cetera. Throughout this discussion, you then begin to shift from your assumption to a shared understanding between all parties involved. Whether it's yourself and one other person or a group of people, everyone starts to understand what this discussion is about, and everyone comes to a shared understanding. If properly processed, your assumption was never vocalized. You never really put yourself out there. You never took that risk. Sometimes that might work in your favor. Sometimes that may not. But you never took the risk. Instead, you worked through the situation. You still look like an authority asking the question. You just maybe didn't jump out with that assumption. And the end result is an investment in clear and concise communication between all parties involved, which in the long run, to be able to repetitively do that with all parties involved, personally, professionally, over and over, I think that's a win. So eliminate assumptions where you can. It's hard. It's hard. I've been working on it for 30 years, and I was not good at it in my younger years. I was one that put my foot in my mouth frequently. And I do my best now to not do that. I find myself listening a lot these days. So I challenge you to do the same. This week is a busy week. We have a lot of things going on. Just kind of looking a few things up here. Let me get to the right screen. We have, starting on Wednesday. Well, first off, last week, if you didn't see our podcast, we had a panel talking about selecting and implementing technology. It was a great panel. We've had a lot of interactions since then, lots of questions, lots of discussions. Check it out. Check it out on our YouTube page at Driving Forward PC. Quite a few views on LinkedIn, but really some great conversations. I think the next panel, we didn't get deep into implementing technology, so the next panel likely will be on implementing technology, but we'll see how that goes. We have a lot of conferences coming up here. March 13th, Wednesday, I'm on a panel at 9:30 in the morning Central Time with Optum. Chris Torrance is leading the panel, and we have a variety of other panelists. I'm really excited about that. Blending tech, talent, and training in trucking should be a great event. Thursday, we'll have the Driving Forward podcast, episode 11 already for the year. It's hard to believe that. We're the middle of March as of Thursday. Robert Bain, or Bain, and I will be discussing the power of relationships. We're going to have a few random special guests pop in and talk about a few things with us here and there as well. This kind of wraps together with a variety of things we have going on. It's conference season. It's a fun period of time. We have the Minnesota Social going on, which I'll talk about here in a second. That's been put together by GLCS and the Driving Forward podcast. We have Broker Carrier Summit coming up. We have all kinds of different events. And it's been a big year. So, it's a topic that is extremely important to Bain and I. And I know a lot of you. And if you've been watching my LinkedIn posts, it's something that I talk about a lot. And that's the relationships and what you can grow from with your relationships, how you can grow with developing relationships, personally and professionally. So check us out on Thursday at 1:00. Following that at 5:30, if you are in Minnesota, you do not want to miss out on the Minnesota Social. 5:30 p.m. Bloomington, Minnesota at the Green Mill Restaurant. Look up GLCS on LinkedIn. There's an event underneath there, or reach out to me personally on LinkedIn. Happy to send you the event if you can't see it. We currently have about 50 people signed up. So very excited to have that happen. Lots and lots of people coming. It'll be a very interesting event. So big week, lots of stuff coming on. Following that, we're at MATS, we're at TCA. Shortly after that, we're at TIA, Broker Carrier Summit. We have all kinds of stuff. It's going to be wild, crazy, and busy. So we're trying to keep our sanity. I appreciate everybody listening today. Once again, assumptions. It's a big topic. not a big topic, but it's something that I think all of us think about from time to time, and all of us know the old saying. So just wanted to throw that out there. If you have thoughts on assumptions, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm happy to interact, happy to have a discussion on it. Also looking for some cool quotes on assumptions. I kind of looked for a few, and I only know of 2 or 3. So definitely looking for a longer term play there on quotes on assumptions. So drop some comments for me if you can. With that all being said, we will wrap this up. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Until next time, drive forward with purpose and innovation. Thanks for watching.
Take a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip with me.